there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how I painted this cute cocktail using paint markers. And I took this reference photo out to lunch with my husband for Valentine's Day, and I thought it would be a really great reference image. I'm using a brush marker here, a brush acrylic ink marker, to sketch the basic shape of this stemless martini glass. And I basically want to get that in so I can kind of fill in the background. Now the background had just kind of like color and light, and there was a kind of a glossy table that had some reflections, which I was kind of throwing in with this gold marker. But basically I just want to get a little bit of atmosphere in the background. So I don't want it to be the focal point. I just want it to kind of be interesting enough to showcase the drink against. So a background should be a background. I think it should support your subject. It should make the painting interesting. It should give your eyes places to rest and move about, but it shouldn't compete with the subject. And that's what I was doing here. These markers I'm using, all the paint markers I'm using are actually by ArtX. They have a lot of acrylic markers. I think as far as companies doing acrylic markers right now, they probably have the greatest variety of shapes and sizes, and the prices are pretty affordable, considering that years ago there was only a couple brands that you could buy, and they were as expensive for one as you could buy a pack for nowadays. But I do like the ArtX acrylic markers. I think they have a really good selection. I like these really wide ones. This was in a set of 30, and this is the 15 millimeter wide nibs, I believe. They have 10 millimeter, at least they used to. I'm not sure if they still have them or not, but they did have a 10 millimeter wide chisel nib, and then they have a variety of different brush nibs. Some have the liquid ink, some have like a cotton core. I prefer markers that have the liquid ink that you like shake up, because they I don't know, it just seems like they don't run out as fast. I don't know, but they've got, I guess, the benefits of having the kind of the cotton core is that you don't have to shake them. But I don't know, I like knowing there's ink in there, because you can shake it up and kind of hear what you have left. And then oftentimes with the kind that have the liquid ink in there, you can take them apart and fill them up with watered down acrylic paint or acrylic ink, which is something I like to do because, you run out in the middle of a project, and you want to keep on going. And I've also purchased markers, empty chisel markers like this from Amazon, that I've put my own thin down acrylic paint in, and that works really well too. So it doesn't matter. I think these markers are cheaper than getting the empty ones, but if you can refill them afterwards, which I think you can. I haven't tried it, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think you probably can. I'm putting some colors. Like I saw some blues and some browns and some all the different tones in the background, and I thought it'd be fun just to kind of get some colors and shapes and not really make it representational, just kind of have this, I don't know, abstract bar-like lights scene, kind of like your brain could put together the fact that there's a bar there, but you don't have to see anything in specific. Maybe at one point I put some like chair backs back there, so you can kind of see that like this drink is on a table, but there was a bar up ahead. I don't know. I just wanted to get some color and shape, and I was just having fun filling in the canvas. This canvas is a cheap canvas. It was in one of those packs of 12 you could get at the craft store for like on sale for $12 or whatever. It was a cheap canvas, and I definitely noticed it as I was painting on it, because the canvas was not super tight, and they're like, sometimes when you have the really cheap canvas, like they don't prime it as much. They don't put as many coats of gesso as the more expensive canvases do. So when you're painting on it with acrylics or acrylic markers, you'll see these like pinhole like areas where the paint doesn't stick. So I had to go over some areas a couple times because of that. If I had just thrown a coat of gesso on this before I began, I wouldn't have had that issue. But who wants to do that, right? You want to get in there, you want to paint. You don't really need to, but that's just something that if you do have cheap canvases, giving them an extra coat of gesso will be night and day. It'll make a huge difference in the quality of the canvas, especially if you're using if acrylics, even oils. I think that does help quite a bit, but especially with acrylics. I find if the surface is not primed well enough for acrylics, then just spreading the paint around, it dries kind of patchy and uneven, and it's just kind of more difficult to work with. And obviously, oils need that barrier between the cloth and the paint in the form of gesso. Otherwise, it will rot the canvas. So I guess it wouldn't hurt if you're if you're trying to save some money with the cheap canvases to give them a prime. Here you can kind of see where I just threw kind of the suggestions of some chairs in there. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get this kind of dark nightclub bar type scene in the background without it being I don't know, obvious or anything very specific. I didn't want to take away from the drink, I guess. So one of the disadvantages of I keep wanting to say alcohol markers, but these are acrylic markers. One of the disadvantages is that what you have is what you have for colors, and mixing the markers can be a little tricky because they dry really quick. And if you don't have exactly the color you need, then you're kind of stuck, right? So one thing I found that you can do is kind of overlap the colors and quickly go in with a damp brush and mix them together, or put a color down, then go in with another color and kind of spread it out a little bit. You can contaminate the colors on the tip of the marker, but you can generally just scribble it off. You can see on the edge of my easel, I sometimes will scribble the marker off to get any of the, stain or whatever off the tip, so it doesn't contaminate the next thing I paint. So, I mean, that's something. The other disadvantage I would say to acrylic markers over acrylic paint would be that certain colors are very difficult to find in a really vibrant color. So it's really hard to get super vibrant colors, like especially reds that are also opaque. And acrylic markers generally are opaque, which is great. That's a great quality. But the more opaque a color is, less vibrant sometimes, especially when it comes to colors like blues and reds or purples. They lose a lot of that saturation because they have to add opacifiers to them to make them, so they can mark on every surface and they can show up on every surface. So I struggled, even with all the colors I had 60 of these brush tip ones, and then I had 30 of the honk and chisel ones. I had a struggle trying to find a cherry red, a bright cherry red. I had to kind of use these. This was the brightest one, and I had this big chunky one. And even then, I still don't feel like I had that red enough. So just kind of something to think about, and I could have grabbed a tube of paint. It's not like I couldn't have done that. And red acrylic paint is transparent generally if it's a nice bright red. But that will make it hard to stand out because you can see that red there that I used. It's not super red for that cherry. It did block out the background because it's an opaque color. Just one of those things to consider when you're using these markers. I do find that yellows are not very opaque in markers, probably because of how they're such a light value color, and, to make them thin enough to flow, it's, there's some compromises that have to be made. These markers are really nice. I like these. I also like the Ohuhu direct ink markers. Both of those are very similar. They have this liquid ink in there. You can see through the side of the barrel how much ink is left, and the brush tips are very good on these, and they're like painting with little paintbrushes that are all ready to go. I really enjoy those quite a bit, and they've been kind of like the Ohuhu ones because they come in a case. I'll try to remember to link both of them, but they're a wonderful gift because if somebody is not that used to using markers, these are really fun because you could do ornaments. I gave this out to my mom for Christmas, and she has been painting ornaments with them and absolutely loving it. And I've shared them with some other friends who just really love the ease of use of them. And you don't need to pump them. You just shake them and they're ready to go, which is nice because pumping to start a bunch of markers is such a drag. Especially if you get one of those really big sets of like the bullet tip markers and you've got to like pump them and get them all going before you can do a project. That's the nice thing about the brush tip markers that are out now. They don't require any pumping. They're just ready to go right out of the box, which is so nice. The cotton core ones, I will say one advantage to them is that you don't have to pump them at all. They're just ready to go. I mean, you don't have to shake them even. They store upside down in their case and you're ready to go. So that's kind of a nice quality of those markers. So you can definitely, I feel like, find whatever you want in a marker nowadays. And like I was mentioning before, all the markers I'm using in this project are from Ardex, and they do seem to have the largest variety of types of markers available. The one type that I didn't care for that much, but then I used in my project where I painted my studio stools, was the Simp Tap markers. And the reason I didn't like them is that I had a couple of them kind of explode out the back, have a blowout out the back. But I will say they fed ink really quickly, so I was able to paint my studio stools without running out of ink, and they would have like kept running out and have to wait to refresh them if I'd used a different type of marker. So yeah, there's a marker for everybody. Rest assured. You just got to go looking for them, I guess. I layered up the yellow so I could kind of get that translucent look. So that first layer was really thin. You could see the background through it a little bit. And then I would layer up in kind of a streaky fashion, so it would almost have a little bit of translucency that you could see a little bit of the background peeking through. Not a ton, but just a little bit, so you can so it shows that it's not like an opaque object. Like a slice of citrus is very translucent, and I wanted to get that effect. Here, I'm still struggling with getting the color and getting the tone and the reflections and everything. So it just was kind of a layering and a blending process, which as I was painting this, I kind of was thinking, oh, I should have just got paint out. That's something that happens to me a lot when I'm painting. I'll be about 3/4 of the way through. It's like, oh my gosh, why didn't I just use this? Or why didn't I just use that? And like this other medium would have been so much quicker. But because I have this experience with almost every medium I use, I'm not so sure that's the case. It's really tough to beat acrylic markers as far as speed. And I have done quite a few acrylic cocktail paintings. I did 3 on these mini canvases that came with little easels, like little 3x3 or 4x4 canvases last year, probably about 6 months ago, and I took them to the art exchange boxes, and those were so fun to do. So, if you search on my channel, I do have quite a few acrylic marker projects that are kind of small and fun, and will help you get used to your markers if you're thinking about getting some of these. And I guess I didn't realize how popular acrylic markers were until I went to move my studio this month, and I had been filling shelves with stuff I didn't want to bring upstairs. So I was moving my studio from the basement of our house up to the addition over the garage. So I had to go up 2 flights of stairs, which is always crazy when you think it's like we have a 3-bedroom ranch. So the fact that you're encountering stairs at all in this is quite comical. But yeah, I had to take everything I owned art-wise up 2 flights of stairs. And so anything that I wasn't sure about keeping, I put it on a shelf to think about. And then I had a shelf of stuff I definitely was getting rid of. And by the end of it, everything on the think about shelf was also going to be going because I was running out of space and I didn't want to carry it up. Anyway, so some of my friends came over, and then my daughter Maisie had some of her college friends come over and to grab supplies. And everybody was asking if I had any acrylic markers, and the only acrylic markers I had were ones my mom had asked first thing, if you have any acrylic markers, let me have them. That's the only thing that she wanted, and I only had 1 pack. It was those SimTap ones. So I thought it was kind of funny that was such a asked after or sought after product. And I guess it makes sense because so many companies are coming out with acrylic markers nowadays. You can find so many for any budget. Now, I haven't tried all of them. I've tried some by Gangna, I think it is. They were put out by Paul Rubens, but Gangna, I think is the brand, and they were decent. They were like a dual-ended one. I've tried the Fun2 Click Link ones. Those I didn't like quite as much. I struggled to get those going. Ohuhu, their brush ones, and the Artix brush ones, I like those. I really like the Artix really chunky ones. The Concord ones are pretty handy, because they're just very easy to use. But I tend to, if I'm working on something like this, like a canvas where I need to get a lot of ink to be flowing, I want something with a direct ink, personally. I'm trying to think if there's any other brands that I've used that I've really liked. Posca, obviously Posca is kind of the gold standard. However, I don't find Posca to be as worthy of its price tag, I have to say. I've been kind of disappointed in how long my Posca markers have lasted compared to how the cheap ones do so well. And I've tried the Copic Acrylic ones. Those, again, they're very expensive, I think, for what they are. They're decent, but they're not perfect. And, I did run into some problems with them. So yeah, I would just definitely just look for reviews if you're thinking about buying some acrylic markers. I don't think you can go wrong with the Artix ones, and they do have such a variety of nib sizes that, I think that's probably a good place to start. Ohuhu, the brush markers are pretty good. They have some bullet tip and some fine tip options. The dual-ended ones, they're great if you use them right away. When you get them, you open them and you use them and don't let them sit open on a shelf. I find that they do have kind of a shelf life, and that might be a thing with like the plastic fine tip markers, the ones that have the hard plastic nib or the bullet nib. I think that if you don't use them frequently, they just tend to dry out on you. So I would say whatever you decide to get, make sure you use them. Now here I'm using a damp brush. This is a little filbert from Royal Nine Nickel, and I'm just using it to blend some of the tones together that I've just laid down. You have to be quick because the colors dry very quickly. I find it's a little easier to do after you've had a couple layers down, so that that top layer kind of has a non-porous surface to kind of puddle on, and then you can blend it quite a bit easier. And I'm just kind of adding little dips and dabs and building up the realism and the volume and stuff. Not that this is like super realistic, it's kind of cartoony looking, but the more you add, the more layers you add, I feel like the more volume you can get in a piece and the more realistic it'll end up looking. So if you're not happy with it, don't give up. If you're not happy with it, keep on going, and you'll eventually get to the point where you are happy with it, hopefully, or put it away for a while and then come back to it. And then hopefully you'll be happy with it. Highlighting this little pick that's got the garnish on it. I think I started off by doing that with like a tannish brown color, and then I added a little highlight, and I think I added a shadow on it at some point there. I'm not sure if it's on there yet or I've yet to do it. But yeah, this is where you want to have the steady hand. I turn the canvas sideways so I can just kind of have a smooth arc. And be working with my dominant hand facing the opposite way, facing the left side of things. Does that make sense? I like to turn it so I'm always got the pen to the right side of the line that I'm trying to make. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically, see, I'm turning it so that I'm always working on that edge. I'm always working on the left side because I have an easier time drawing on the left side of things. I think it's because I'm right-handed. I don't know, but it's something that helps me keep a steady hand while I'm working, and hopefully that tip will help you as well. And just kind of go through, and here I'm using a Copic Acrylic marker I just mentioned earlier. They only have 24 colors of those. They're their newest offering. The acrylic paint pen, they're a fine tip, like hard plastic nibbed paint pen, kind of like the extra fine Posca pens. They're decent. I have to say I like them more, actually, the more that I've been using them. At first I was really disappointed in them. I was getting feedback on the nibs. I was getting, it feeding up too much ink. But I've been storing them on their side in a marker rack and using them fairly frequently, and they seem to be behaving a lot more now. But they're pricey. Like $20 for 6 markers, which is kind of crazy, kind of pricey to me. I think they are open stock, but yeah, you might want to try one or two before you decide to buy a pack. I don't know. I think when you can get such large packs now for such cheap prices, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know why they would come out with a marker at that price point when there's so much competition, especially after seeing how their business has been hit so hard by alcohol marker competition. But who knows? I don't run the world. I don't run these companies. I don't even know what goes on behind the scenes, but that's just some opinions anyway. But I really like how this came out. I had a really fun time painting it. It was great to work at an easel. It was great to work upstairs in my nice sunny new studio. And this was such a fun subject to paint. So whenever you see something that catches your eye when you're out and about, take a photo of it, and then you have that reference photo to draw from. And it's always fun to work from your own reference photos because it's be a little bit more meaningful because you took the photo. Nobody else is going to have that photo, and you can truly make it your own. And there you have it. There is the painting. I'm using a gel pen to do a few little final highlights on it. And I just absolutely love how it came out. And it was so much fun to paint. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and hope you give something like this a try soon. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.